Thanks for joining us, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of SteamLUG Cast. With me, I have John Drinkwater.
Hey, everyone.
And Cheese.
Hi.
And my name is Swordfisher. Hello.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It's brilliant. Lovely.
In fact, we should just end there. That was good.
Yeah.
See you guys. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
All right. Well, we have some SteamLUG community stuff going. We had the Dungeon Defenders event on the 15th. Did any of you guys attend it?
I was stuck doing other stuff, sorry.
And I was away, wasn't I?
Yeah, and I just planned it and didn't show up. Eek.
So
Terrible.
would anybody like to tell us how good it was? And we can mention it next week.
I'll just assume it was superb.
Like all of our events.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard anything bad, so I guess it was good. Then we had the Team Fortress 2 on the 26th.
Was that good?
I joined a couple of hours late and played with my Rift, but I was the only person in the server, so...
Oh.
What happened? Did we just not have many people turning up?
Rake is saying it was slow and then it died. I actually slept in and woke up halfway through Game Club, so I didn't have a chance to check some stuff, get tweets out and things.
The official server wasn't updated, and that is my fault. I'm sorry about that.
So I go away for a week and everything falls apart?
You're our backbone, John.
Well, more or less, yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. So what do we have coming up?
Well, on the 29th, we have Counter-Strike Source. And on the 6th, we have Left 4 Dead 2. And then on the 13th, we have Team Fortress 2.
I think I'll be playing Counter-Strike Source tomorrow.
Yeah. I won't be. But I'll definitely be in there for the Left 4 Dead 2 and Team Fortress 2.
Oh, more Game Club stuff.
I don't own Counter-Strike Source.
Oh, I see.
Makes it hard for me to join in. If I did, I'd probably show up.
Yeah, you should buy it.
I'd agree with that. It's not a bad game.
It's not a bad game.
Or CSGO?
No CSGO for Linux as yet, though.
Not yet, no.
But maybe.
So, some other community stuff that we have been floating around. The 7-day first-person shooter challenge had a date announced a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago or something, and that's going to be on the 19th of August. And a couple of people in the SteamLUG IRC channel were talking about potentially being interested in doing something, so it might be keen to see whether or not we've got enough people to put together a SteamLUG team. That could be kind of cool.
So what is that challenge?
So the idea is that you it's this kind of global game jam thing where people try and make a first-person shooter game within 7 days. I did it last year and it was heaps of fun. I worked in a team of 2 to 3 people, and yeah, it was great.
How large are the teams?
It's whatever you want. There are absolutely no rules. I mean, some people didn't make first-person shooters.
Is any language allowed?
Yep.
We could, make a team, make a PHP game.
Yeah. I mean, the sort of idea is that you aim to make it first-person. First-person PHP would be an exciting challenge.
We could use Silverlight.
It'd be really cool to have a PHP page that self-refreshed and showed 1 frame per load.
Notch put up some JavaScript code to render Minecraft in rusted projected 3D, so we could probably port that to PHP.
But I figure if there is going to be a SteamLUG team or multiple SteamLUG teams, it'd be up to those teams to decide what they were keen on. I've got a bunch of concepts that I'm happy to donate if people get stuck. But yeah, it'd be fun. I'd be happy to help coordinate and organise such a team. I'm probably going to be doing my own game during the week, but I can still spare some time to help keep everyone else on track.
I imagine some news that we're mentioning later might actually help for this challenge, but we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah. I am, for anybody who, like me, doesn't own Counter-Strike Source, is welcome to attend the Double Fine Game Club's playthrough of Broken Sword, which is in the current Humble Bundle. And that is an hour after the usual SteamLUG talk, time. The idea is that we come together and chat about what we do and don't like about the game at hand. So if anybody's excited about adventure games, feel free to come along.
I might pop in as well, because I remember playing that pretty much just after release. It's a brilliant game.
Have you tried the Director's Cut? That's what's in the Humble Bundle.
I bought that on Android when it came out. I don't like the new beginning.
Yeah, right. I hadn't played it prior to playing this Director's Cut, and I kind of feel like the game would have been weaker without the extra kind of dynamic that having playable Nico adds.
Having played the original, where it starts with that explosion at the cafe, and then playing the Director's Cut, I wondered what on earth they'd added onto it, and the pacing was a bit odd, and the puzzle was really weird, and I don't know why they wanted to put it back in, really.
Yeah, I can see that there was a shift in pacing. It did feel that way, but to be honest, I find George to be incredibly annoying. So it's absolutely fantastic to have a break from him.
I think that's the niceness of the writing, that you can't stand him, but he's got this adventure to go through, and you bear with it. It does help that later on in the game you have two even more annoying Americans in it.
Oh, great. I did spot some, because Miriam's playing it and I'm just kind of watching over her shoulder while I work, but I did spot a couple of fairly irritating... The accents in this game, they're all fake. Where are these people from?
Yeah, they're very sort of BBC fake accents, aren't they?
It's awesome. But it seems like a really fun game. And I kind of wish I had a bit more attention to give it while Miriam's doing this first playthrough, but she's going to be streaming for the for Game Club.
Nice.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move on and take a look at some Steam and Valve related news. Now, obviously, there have been a bunch of beta client updates. The only really noticeable one that I've spotted for Steam that's relevant for Linux would be adding the overlay for 64-bit titles and adding some skin support for Linux.
No, it wasn't added. It was re-added.
Oh, it was in there before, was it?
Yeah, it was broken.
They managed to break it and then fixed it again.
Ah.
But the 64-bit overlay support is very good news.
I'm just happy I can use my own skin again.
I always feel uncomfortable when wearing other people's skins.
God damn it, jeez.
Flowers.
Sorry.
Well, no, the font for the Steam UI is pretty big on my system, so it looks very out of place. And considering it doesn't use the window borders for my window manager, it looks even worse. So it's definitely an improvement for me to have smaller fonts again. And they in that beta they also added friendly machine names with if you Steam guard your account, and if you like me and delete your cookies every time you close your browser, you have to rename your your browser every time.
Yeah.
That's pretty annoying.
So anything exciting happening on the GitHub front, John, since you're obviously up to speed on everything after being away for a week or so?
I was going to allude to this. Since I've been away for a week, I only came back 2 days ago and I've just been catching up with stuff. I don't have much of a clue about what's been happening. So I thought I would apologise for that and jump straight to the Source SDK news.
Yeah.
Valve, Wednesday night or Thursday, posted the Source SDK 2013 onto GitHub, which is pretty much the orange box version of Source, I think, that's ported to all three platforms. That includes Riff support and Steam Pipe support. So that's very good news, and as I mentioned, it might help if someone wants to make a 7-day FPS game.
Yeah, so the other thing to sort of be aware of is that that's the base source that you base your mod off. It doesn't include any of the additional content creation tools such as Hammer and the other bits and pieces.
It's basically so you can compile the game into a playable state.
Right.
What is Hammer?
That's Valve's level editor, and I think they've got like a model viewer and like pose editor thing, I think.
Okay.
I honestly haven't looked at what toolsets are normally included in the SDK for Source. But it is great news for anybody who is interested in that. Obviously there are open source things that can edit source engine maps, and you can export models in appropriate formats from things like Blender and stuff, so they're not exactly major roadblocks for anybody who wants to play around with stuff.
Certainly. So the next item of news, Half-Life 2 is out of beta. Sorry, Sword?
Well, speaking of SDKs, have you heard anything about the SDK for Gold Source?
I haven't heard anything, no.
No, I haven't heard anything either.
Oh, that's a shame. I have some ongoing business with Cheese's old mod.
Yeah, I was about to say that somebody was meant to be doing something.
Which started in February or something. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Half-Life 2 has come out of beta, so it's had the beta tag removed, and that's the episodes as well. Lost Coast. Was that has Deathmatch also been unflagged? I don't remember.
Yeah, but I thought that was out of beta earlier.
But yeah, that's great news. Portal was untagged a few days earlier, and
very happy about that.
It looks, with the way they sort of have their process, that a new game might be coming soon.
Did Left 4 Dead lose its beta tag?
No. And
No.
I got a hunch that it probably won't, because it sounds like they're keen to have an ongoing beta, public open beta, like TF2 has.
Yeah, alright.
So it'll show up as a separate game when it appears, I reckon.
Okay, so you still can't get trading cards on Linux?
Swordfisher, honestly. Speaking of trading cards, how's your progress?
Well, I have gotten all the ones I can right now, so I'm just waiting to trade with someone.
Actually, I think I can trade some of my Serious Sam cards with you.
Oh, great. We can look into it. Yeah, sure. And for everyone who participated in the card beta, you should have received a new emoticon. And if you crafted a badge, you should achieve a foil emoticon too. If you're into that stuff.
Yeah, we also got 100 XP extra for being testers.
Oh, neat.
Which was nice. I can hear Cheese just thinking, what on earth are they doing? So we'll move on.
I'm biting my tongue.
Just before we started recording, Greenlight published 11 more titles. Out of those 11, only one is a definite for Linux, Verdun. 3 are sort of, they have either planning or considering entries, and that's Cognition, Guncraft, and Homesick. Nothing more to report about any of them.
Wow.
You guys are lost for words?
Yep.
Fair enough.
Should we move on?
So, moving on to gaming news. I was chatting. I wasn't. I just suggested in our planning document that maybe we could have a chat about, or briefly mention, what we've personally been playing over the past fortnight. So yeah, Swordfisher, John, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing Thomas Was Alone. I have some minor annoyances with the game. Overall, it's a great game.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's good.
Yeah.
I just couldn't skip the first movie when you start the game. I was going insane. I just can't deal with that stuff. I need to skip movies.
Huh.
Also, when you move the menu, you have to wait for the animation to finish before you can go to the next subject in the menu.
I spotted Mike on Twitter saying that he was not happy with the sort of usability aspects of the menu. But, I didn't mind them. But then again, I played through the game 3 or 4 times so far and haven't spent more than 20 seconds in the menu because I've finished it in a single playthrough for almost every setting.
Yeah, well, I'm the kind of guy who just plays a game for 6 minutes, then I quit. Then I play for 6 minutes more, then I quit. So I usually play the menu more than the game.
So how far have you got in the game so far?
I've been where...
Do you remember which characters you've bumped into so far?
Some blocks.
I don't remember their names either, but can you remember the colours or the shapes?
No.
Okay.
The long bar from Tetris.
Yeah. I got up to a point where it inverts the gravity.
Yeah, I just played that.
And I have to fall onto a button that's sideways. And I can't do it, so I sort of rage quit and haven't been back in for...
Yeah, spoiler warning.
Yeah, it's it's kind of a little challenging, but once you work out the technique, it's not very difficult.
Does it have a timed mode?
Don't think so.
That would be horrible.
Well, I was missing it a bit when I played the first levels. I just want to complete it so fast that I get on the leaderboard or something.
So you don't appreciate the loving narrative. You just want to sort of throw the blocks around and get done with it.
I actually muted the game, so yeah.
Wow.
Wow, Swordfisher, that's a bit mean. I mean, that's honestly the best part of the game.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the platforming itself, while it's clever and very, very nicely presented, I don't know that's really a sort of key selling point for the game.
It's not. It really is a narrative to me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
But that's okay, as long as you enjoy some aspects of it. Awesome.
Yeah, well, I enjoy a game being quiet and just jumping around in it.
So just before I left, I got a few more hours into Trine 2. I'm sort of about halfway now, and that game is delicious to look at, isn't it?
It is fantastic. When I wrote my review of Trine 1, I said, it's the most beautiful game ever, and very, very impressed. And I would have scoffed if somebody had said that within a few months there'd be another game which looked better. And somehow they pulled that off. So I'm friends with a few people at Frozen Byte. Been talking to one of their founders a little bit earlier today, who says that at some stage, guys might be keen to join us, whether that's for a SteamLUG event or a future cast. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it'd be good to have them along.
Yeah, it would be nice. I've also played Legends of Aetherius, which recently got an update, which added a lot of content and fixed some graphical glitches, namely the black graphics, where if you change the resolution or launch the game incorrectly, according to them, it will make all the shadows entirely black. Yeah, that didn't look very nice. Rig is asking whether they fixed the updater, and I don't know, I just downloaded the entire zip file again. Because I have so much bandwidth. So if you play Legend of Aetherius, I suggest you check it out. It's a pretty nice game too. How about the Humble Bundle for Android 6? Cheese, have you looked into that?
Yeah, so that's got 4 days left, I think. We've got, as I mentioned earlier, we've got Broken Sword. There's also Stealth Bastard Deluxe. There is Fractal. And I'm going to need to switch up and double check what the other titles were.
Frozen Synapse. An Organ Trial.
Aquaria.
Yeah, we see Aquaria again, yeah.
And Pulse. And Pixel. Waking Mars. Night Sky.
Yeah.
And all of their soundtracks.
Yeah, so they're well on the road to 800,000, having sold 161,500 copies at the moment, which is cool.
How many other titles are on Steam for Linux?
No idea. Stealth Bastard Deluxe might be showing up in games list but isn't launching or something. So for this bundle, as is often the case with Android bundles, Linux is at a higher percentage than Mac so far as total revenue goes, which is cool. We're at 12.31% and macOS is currently at 10.37%.
I think it'll go up again when I buy them all later.
Good. And of course we've got a higher average there, sitting $2.17 above the average. Yeah. What do you guys think? You guys had a chance to play any of the games?
I haven't bought any of them because my credit card is blocked.
Oh.
Waking Mars is a brilliant game. That should probably be one of the first you play out of these.
I've really only had a chance to watch Miriam play some Broken Sword, but I'm pretty keen to check out Fractal.
I haven't played that. What's it like?
I don't know. It's kind of puzzle game, and this is probably a fairly gross, superficial thing, but it kind of makes me feel a little bit like Splice when I look at it. So it looks like fun.
It does have sort of an ethereal background, primary colours, and they change for each sort of level. It does have a really nice art style.
Really clean, yeah.
Sort of looks puzzle bobbly or something.
Yeah, I haven't quite worked out exactly what the mechanics are.
It looks like you click and it creates, clears groups of stuff.
Oh, it looks like you add stuff in when you click though, and yeah.
Sort of like a hexagonal Bomberman or something.
Welcome to SteamLUG, where we watch trailers and talk about games.
Yes, we're like, what on earth are we doing? Right, let's move on, I think. We managed to miss the last Humble Weekly sale, which was for Rochard and all its DLC.
I thought this one was worth mentioning, at least briefly, just because it was the first weekly sale to adhere to the sort of traditional Humble Bundle values of no indie games, no DRM and cross-platform. So that was kind of nice to see, and great for people who didn't want to pick it up on Steam to be able to get a copy of the DLC for Linux.
Yep, and again, that's another really good game.
I love that game.
So it's a shame if you didn't pick up on the sale, but the next sale should please you as well, because Shank 2, and Eats are on sale in the current Humble Weekly sale.
Now, Eats is Windows and Mac only for anybody who was hoping that we'd see a Linux version there.
Oh.
But if you're into Shank, then Shank is very polished brawler platformer.
Or if you want to increase your Steam library to get some more points in the trading card thingy with badges.
I do see the average for this bundle is pretty low.
It's kind of sad. I mean, they are seriously well-polished games, and deserve a good bit of attention.
Yeah, Meklu does make quite a big point. I mean, I've got both the Shanks already. I would probably just buy it to get the soundtracks, which again are pretty good.
So that's an interesting aspect of these weekly sales, is that they often have stuff that are included in Humble Bundles, and since Humble Bundle has probably a deeper penetration on Linux than on other platforms, obviously Linux users are going to be proportionally less likely to pick up the weekly sales.
I think it might just be that quite a lot of us are we pick up on news when a Linux game becomes available. So it's not as if there are some of us, waiting around for another sale later down the line. So it's likely that most of the people that would have bought it already.
Yeah, that's a point. Although it does have that kind of, the pay what you want aspect allows people who otherwise might not have checked it out to check it out, which I guess is why we're probably seeing such low averages.
Well, also there are so many bundles at the moment. How many bundles have this week, this month.
Yes, that's true as well.
I just can't keep up with them.
Yeah, the game music bundle, the Indie Royale bundles, the Epic Indie, I think it is.
Groupies and whatnot.
We're spoilt for choice.
I think it's probably worth focusing on, or worth recognizing that the weekly sales aren't quite the same sort of thing as the humble bundles. I mean, they got a couple of titles in them, but they kind of feel more like a actual sale than a bundle, if there is such a distinction.
They should just have a store where you can buy all the games and have some of them on sale at times.
Yeah.
Like highlight 3 games and have them on sale.
Well, if you had, say, a list of humble store widgets, then you would essentially have that.
And I've come across a website like that.
Yeah.
It was quite handy. We'll put a link in the show notes for that.
Yeah. It's the one hosted on GitHub, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of has a kind of Steam Linux feel to it, hey?
Kind of does, doesn't it?
Oh no.
Anyhow, you wanted to mention Kentucky Route Zero.
I love this game. This is fantastic. They describe it as a surreal realist, magical realist adventure game. It's kind of point and click adventure type thing. It's got this really sweet vector style, which is, it's great. I think it might be air based, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, or even potentially flash based, which is kind of slightly irritating, but it's packaged well, and it's pretty solid. But I really love the presentation of the game. A lot of it has a lot of this interaction that you can do with characters and people in the game, where you pick your dialogue and it shapes the way that the other characters are presented rather than how they behave. So you kind of, depending upon what dialogue you pick, you end up getting a different perspective on not only yourself but the world that you're in. But none of it kind of has a direct impact on, or very little of it has a direct impact on where the story goes or the game itself. So it kind of has this feeling that you're crafting the tone of the story yourself, much more than you get with most other adventure games. I'm really impressed with it. So last week or the week before, I can't recall which, Act 2 of the game was added to for anybody who already owns it. So that's continually getting content. I think it's meant to be 5 acts in total, and it's worth checking out.
So there was Sonotic, is that how you pronounce it?
Zonotic, yeah, that's how I say it.
Sonotic.
Zonotic, with like a Z sound.
Zonotic.
Zonotic.
Oui.
I think that was Russian. Anyway, 0.7 was released, and for those who don't know what the aforementioned game is, it's a Quake-like style game, FPS shooter.
It's the
thing.
real Nexuiz.
Nexuiz.
So that's what Nexuiz was renamed to when
some
of the development team nicked off with the name to make a non-open source game, which has no relation to Nexuiz at all.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when it came to Xbox Live Arcade, because I played the Nexuiz on my old Pentium 3, I guess, back in the days.
Nice. But yeah, so I think a lot of people kind of were a bit misled by that, and ended up with something other than what they thought they were getting when they checked it out on the Xbox.
Yep. I was sitting, what the is this? This is not Nexuiz.
Yeah, so when the title was taken for that project, the original Nexuiz was forked and renamed to Zonotic, which has been continuing getting development, which is great. And yeah, they just had their 0.7 release, so sweet.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we should have a SteamLUG event for it. Yeah, even though it's not on Steam, but it's free.
Yeah, I guess that's down to us deciding whether we want to do non-Steam games. I mean, I think it might be worthwhile if people are keen for it. So in this release, they've had a complete rewrite of the capture the flag mode, and have added in updates and bug fixes for many of their other modes. So they've got like clan, arena, last man standing, onslaught, assault, freeze tag, next ball, and domination apparently. And they've added in more competitive features and things as well.
Sounds a bit like a Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, I think they kind of were sort of aiming to borrow some bits and pieces from that.
Yeah, that's nice.
But that's cool and fun, and you can pick that up from the Xonotic website. I think it might be in some distros package managers as well, and you can get it from Desura too.
Yeah. And natural selection might be coming to Linux.
Yeah, even before release, it was something that might happen.
Well, it is source based, isn't it?
No, they jumped away and did their own engine, as they felt that source wasn't quite flexible enough to do some of the things they wanted to do, and they open sourced their IDE that they made as well, a Lua based IDE.
It would be Natural Selection 2.
Did I say something else?
You forgot the 2.
Oh.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Natural Selection was a was that Half-Life mod?
Yeah.
Originally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Natural Selection 2 is the kind of standalone pay-for sequel.
And I guess Natural Selection 1 is waiting on a Gold Source SDK update, is it?
Yeah, if it gets the attention that it would need to have that kind of update. But fingers crossed that they're interested. I don't know how many of the original developers moved across to Natural Selection 2 or whether it was just a subset. I haven't been following it that closely, but both games have really interesting gameplay and be cool to check out.
I saw the original Natural Selection was running on Linux, just not completely, so some mobs couldn't spawn, and the standard things when you have a wrong client DLL or .so.
Yeah, okay.
So you could load the menus and some of the HUDs and whatnot, but not everything. Should we move on to crowdfunding news?
Yeah, let's do that. So we had sort of almost organized to have Micah from Archetype Global come and join us to talk about Tesla Breaks the World, but sadly he had some last minute stuff that kept him from being able to join us. But that's a very nice looking platformer featuring Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison and zombies, and looks kind of silly and fun, and they've got a really modest target of 5,500, which hopefully will be achievable for them, and that ends on July the 7th for anybody who's keen. I have to say, I was just kind of really excited about the art style. It's kind of like Disney's Sleeping Beauty meets kind of more modern looking vector characters and stuff. It's really nice.
It's very neat looking. You said zombies.
Yeah, so the premise is that it's got some historically accurate elements, but not many, I think. So it talks about it's set after Nikola Tesla moved to America and did some work for Thomas Edison, for which he was not paid, and he went off to do his own stuff, and he came up with an invention which ended up bringing the dead to life. But I think that there's this kind of hints that, as far as the story goes, it's Thomas Edison sabotaged his work, and so you've got to then go through and fix the world, as it were.
I was trying to understand how the game mechanics work from just looking at screenshots, and it's kind of hard. I mean, it's a puzzle platformer, is it?
Yeah, but then you've also got other elements like where you've got a pigeon that you control. Again, historical elements there, and you can use the pigeon to help you reach stuff that you wouldn't normally reach. And then you've also got access to some inventions, like a floating platform or whatever, that you can control and use to get to places that you couldn't get to otherwise.
It's very surreal.
Yes, Yes, it is.
Well, I hope that does well.
Yeah, same here. And there may be the opportunity to bring those guys in to have a chat with us later after their crowdfunding campaign finishes. But in the meantime, best of luck to them. Next episode, we are looking at getting the developers of The Maker's Eden to join us to have a chat about their campaign and why they're supporting Linux and that sort of stuff. They're in the last third of their campaign now, I think. I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Who's actually coming on to talk with us?
Dell and Jacko, by the looks of things. So yeah.
Okay.
And that'll be fun.
Yep, that should be. I think I've heard her talk on a Minecraft podcast before, so.
I've heard her giggle in some of their videos, but that's about it. LerdWerks. Have you guys had a look into this one?
No. I had a look into the name, and I'm always I'm always thinking about the meme with the Gerd girl. It's an Gerd LerdWerks. And that's how much I have been looking into it. So
I do find interesting spellings to be a little bit off-putting as well. So these guys have a 3D game development environment and engine that they're looking, at porting to Linux. And they are asking for $20,000. It looks like they're going to well meet that. They still have 32 days to go, and they're at 15,000. And they're looking at adding Ouya support as well, I think. And so basically, the way that people are talking about this is as though it would be something like Unity, where it's accessible to indie developers and easy to work with. But unlike Unity, it's going to have some native content creation tools and so forth, which, that's having smooth workflows is just as potentially, if not more important than having the best engine. So there's potential for this to be really positive for game developers who don't have the time or resources to develop their own engine. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this one goes.
Yeah, and it's also very important to have competitors to Unity.
For sure.
To keep it from sort of monopolizing the indie market that will come over to our platform, and then we'll find not many people are actually doing lower level coding or using the other engines that are popular.
And it's nice to see that it's got a C++ API.
Yeah.
And Lua and other things as well. Unity, of course, being dominant as far as C# goes.
Right. I added another game in earlier. Another Kickstarter, Satellite Rain. It's a real-time class-based strategy game. Yeah, it sounds good already. By the previous Syndicate Wars creator.
That makes it sound less exciting.
Hey, I mean, that's still a good game.
What?
It went live today. They're already up to 60,000, so I doubt it's going to have problems getting funded. But that's in Unity, and they've said it will be coming to Linux. So, look forward to that game in the future.
I like their concept art's really nice.
Yeah, the art style looks... I know it's sort of, the common thing at the moment, orange and blue, but it looks gorgeous.
So is it trying to be Syndicate at its core?
It does sound like it's going... You know how XCOM was rebooted?
Yeah.
And it's very similar but different. It sounds like this is going to be in the same vein, that it's going to be similar to, but, still have quite a bit changed.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's kind of exciting. I have to say that I was hugely disappointed in Syndicate Wars. After playing Syndicate, it kind of felt pretty bland. So hopefully this will be kind of exciting. Feels like there's been enough time in between to kind of let people have a bit of a fresh approach to things and make something exciting. So the Nuclear Dawn developers, Interwave, have launched a new Kickstarter campaign called for a kind of Metroid abuse style, platformery thing called Dark Matter, which they're hoping to infuse with some sort of point and click adventure type mechanics. They're looking to do Linux at launch. It's kind of sci-fi setting, female protagonist. It looks like it's not finished when you look at the pitch vids and stuff, but then that's what Kickstarter's all about. So seems to have a lot of promise. I'm kind of excited about this one, and it's great to see those developers now reinforcing their commitment to Linux, because obviously Nuclear Dawn is coming, but it's not here yet. It's good to see that they're already interested in supporting us with other projects as well.
This looks very similar to Rochard, though, doesn't it? But darker.
Yes.
To describe it to
extent.
people who can't see it in front of them right now.
It's a bit like Rochard, but it looks to be less puzzle oriented than Rochard. And they're kind of, when they're talking about the kind of point and click adventure game type mechanics that they're building in, that's something that Rochard doesn't have as well. So it's kind of like Rochard but different. Yeah, that's how they pronounce Rochard in the game. I think. Hey, we didn't laugh at the way you were pronouncing Xenotic.
I'm pronouncing it rock hard.
Yeah, that's like the double pun that they wanted to have on it.
Okay.
But it's also kind of, to get us slightly off track again. It's great to see games with female protagonists who are doing their own thing and don't need saving. Although, Seamus has been shooting aliens in this type of game for a long time. So maybe that's traditional, I don't know.
Yeah, right. The Planetary Annihilation Linux client is available now.
Yep, that's up on Steam now, which is cool. Liam from GOL did a kind of first gameplay impressions type post, which is worth having a look at if you're considering getting the game. It's worth remembering that the price on the game to get access to the alpha is the same price that alpha access was during the Kickstarter campaign, and that when the beta becomes available, then the price will drop to the beta tier from the Kickstarter campaign, right down to its final release price. The Windows client got 32-bit support in the last update, I think, and it sounds like Linux and Mac 32-bit support will be coming at some stage as well, for anybody who's hanging out for that.
I think no one here.
Except for me.
Why are you stuck in the past, Cheese?
I just
Get over it.
haven't had time. I don't really care enough to upgrade. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Move on with your life.
I will at some stage, but I just can't kind of take the downtime to do a full reinstall of my OS right now. But it's nothing wrong. It's also kind of nice to maintain 32-bit support. For anybody who wants to target 32-bit, then you're servicing both. But if you're doing 64-bit only stuff, you're limiting yourself to one. But moving on. So Hero U Rogue to Redemption, a sort of adventure RPG created by the creators of Quest for Glory, is about to close its post-Kickstarter backing thing. So if anybody's interested in that, make sure to hop on board. That's going to have Linux support at launch, I believe, and looks to be fun.
I have no clue about this game.
Did you ever play any of the old Sierra adventure titles, sort of Quest for Glory, Space Quest, Police Quest, these sorts of things?
Certainly
Anything
did.
with Quest in the name?
Yep.
Yeah. So Corey Cole and his partner were the kind of minds behind the Quest for Glory series, and last year they had a crowdfunding campaign to make another similar styled thing called Hero U, which is going to come in 3 parts. The first part is called Rogue to Redemption, and you play the thiefy rogue guy, and the idea is that they're at this kind of academy for developing heroes, kind of Quest for Glory style Harry Potter, I guess. But in this first game. You play as a thief, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Awesome. And the last Kickstarter news would be a game we mentioned last episode, I should say. Armicrog has finally got funded. Are we going to discuss the controversy around that, or just?
I don't know. It's been funded. It only just scraped in. The claymation stuff that they're doing looks super professional.
Certainly does.
And the team obviously has a long history with that sort of stuff. One of the people involved is known for fairly uncool attitudes. It's interesting to see that person isn't mentioned anywhere in any of their pitch vids and stuff that I've spotted.
He's obviously got quite an archaic viewpoint on homosexuality, and
yeah,
I don't think we should. I mean, there are quite a few people working on this game, and it seems a shame that people would not fund it because of him.
Can you explain it to me? Because I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So I spotted something that I think it was Mike Bithell, the guy that made Thomas Was Alone, mentioned on Twitter. He sort of said, "Is it okay to people were saying there are other people working on the game. It's about the team, not some individual's attitudes." And he said that if there is an individual with attitudes that you really want to actively not support, the fact that other people are willing to work with someone like that is something to take into consideration. For me, I haven't backed this project, and I guess the thing is, the way that I look at stuff is that I have a lot of things I'm excited about and want to give support to, and I don't have enough money to do that for every single one. So stuff like this kind of allows me to cross things off my list without too much hassle. So I don't really want to hugely endorse the project, but if anybody's excited by it and you really love the Neverhood, then you're going to get something out of this. It does look to be a good project that's going to have good outcomes. But if you're kind of keen to be very principle oriented with your decisions about who to and who not to support, then it's certainly worth being aware of this other stuff.
Can't seem to find this link. It was a Ben Kuchera article about it. The guy I just linked has some fairly crappy anti-homosexual views, and he's quite happy to bring it up constantly. And he's involved with this Kickstarter. And quite a lot of people on Twitter have been quite vocal about not wanting people to help fund the project.
Oh, nothing else?
I mean, when you look at it like that, it is a small deal, but
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
obviously it's still important.
I think it's important that attitudes like that are highlighted so that we as a broader community and as a culture can look at them and say, these are not cool. Because when everybody's keeping this sort of stuff close to their chest and nobody knows about it, that's when it's doing real harm.
I think it's good that people are vocal about it being a problem, and obviously the guy knows that people don't like his viewpoint on it. It doesn't sound like he's going to change.
It's a bit like the Gary situation. In my optic. Well, no. Well,
I think it's far worse than that, and I don't even think it's even in the same magnitude.
I don't know that it's even comparable, really. I mean, Gary's
to me it is.
being a troll, and he's intentionally being a cheeky, mischievous person, which is kind of something that you can say in some contexts is charming and lovable, whereas this other fellow kind of has his head up his backside.
I'll just guess we have to disagree on that.
On the LerdWerks front, I just spotted, thanks to SD on the GOL forums, that LerdWerks 3 has been greenlit for Steam.
Oh, that's good news.
So we can see Gerd's LerdWerks for Sterm.
Yes.
Oh, neat.
What does it mean by Steam Edition? Is that just an integration library or the whole thing? Or?
I honestly haven't looked. I only just spotted.
I'm just looking at it now. It sounds like the IDE. Yep, the visual tool for making games.
Yeah, so maybe they've got separate licensing where you don't automatically get access to Steam with their normal licensing options. Maybe it's they're kind of separate and they want to highlight that. That's my best guess.
Yep, that seems likely. I wonder how much that's going to be. That should be quite interesting.
I wonder whether Greenlight would be more or less successful if you could provide some kind of price range estimate when asking people to give a thumbs up on whether or not they would buy your game.
Wouldn't that encourage developers to put lower prices to encourage votes and then possibly not stick to it? Or would you sort of say, here's what I'm going to suggest, and it has to get concretely set for that launch or something? I can't see how they would get that, because I think Valve has a good talk to developers before they get accepted onto Steam to pick a price band for whatever they're selling.
Yeah, okay. I just know that as far as kind of a, because Greenlight is meant to be a, would you purchase this, would you not purchase this? I know that price is a big factor for a lot of people, and it could be that there are people who would say, I would purchase this if it was $5, and that comes out at $20, and the information hasn't quite provided people with the right kind of details to meet that commitment down the track. Not that it's a commitment when you vote for something on Greenlight.
Certainly. Well, I think we're at an end of this cast for today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you have any feedback, you can email us at cast@steamlug.org.
It was a nice, fun episode. And yeah, we're very keen to have feedback, as John says.
Yes, do tell us what segments are too long, what segments are too short, and if it's exciting enough for you.
Yeah, if you need us to have, a game panel in the middle, we can probably do that.
Well, thanks for joining, everyone.
Yep, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys.